And so, he was just super cool. Like, we all both had this passion for music, but he was actually doing stuff with his music and research, and like the marketing side of it. And so that actually inspired me. I don't know if I ever told Ronald that, but like that actually inspired me to like, oh shit, you could do something with music and research, and it does impact. And it made me look back like, duh, like I love Lil Kim, and Lil Kim like got me through so much. Like that's why I was, 8, 9, saying that I was gonna change my name to Kim when my mom said she was gonna go to the Nation of Islam in one of her states. Having her episodes. So that's when it started connecting, and maybe the start of like this hip hop thing really has a place in mental health for Black people. I never really delved into research from that lens before. And so it showed me like, oh, I'm capable of doing that, right? And so another reason why it's important to network is because it can push you beyond your capacity. And that's always where you kind of want to live. And not necessarily in a negative way, but you always want to make sure that you're pushing your growth areas. Like if you've mastered Word, then try to learn Excel. If you've like just always try to grow. And it doesn't matter what that looks like. Like if you know how to do a sew-in, learn how to do a quick weave. Like just keep growing your skill set. So anyway, fast forward to junior year, got my yes in Delta. Ended up doing another summer internship the summer before my senior year of college at Philander Smith. And I got accepted to be a McNair scholar at Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis, ooey pooey. And so that really, what that did for me was like show me access and agency, and like how I could freak the system to get more access and agency. Because through McNair Scholars, like not only did I get additional research experience, but I also got GRE, which is the Graduate Record Examination, the test that you have to take for psychology at least. And I know that you do have to take it for other programs, but for my program, I had to take the GRE. And they gave me GRE prep courses, just courses that prepared me for graduate school, looking at the reality of it. I was able to have conversations with other Black individuals that were interested in going into graduate school and kind of prepare myself for, it may not be many of me. So just graduating from Philander, I knew I wanted to do something more. I knew I wanted to utilize this. And I had met Dr. Alda Moore along the way, and that became my second mentor. And she was the second woman, Black woman, in the state of Arkansas to practice psychology or have a psychology practice. So these are my mentors at the time that I'm in Philander in psychology, right? And Dr. Griffin's mentor was Dr. Robert L. Williams. And I ended up getting to meet him. If you don't know this man, just one moment, all I have to say is ebonics. This man coined that term, ebony and phonics. That is why we have a Black language. So to me, like I had this connection with these great people and these great Black leaders who were doing such phenomenal things and inspiring me. I knew I couldn't just do what I wanted to do at the level that they were doing things with just a bachelor's. So I was like, okay, Lex, you probably got to jump off the porch with the PhD thing. So I knew I wanted to have the Black experience. So I had to apply to a HBCU where I wanted to. And that limited me to only 2 HBCUs, Howard University or Jackson State. I started the application at Howard, but they have, I think it was like predominantly psychodynamic, which is a therapeutic type of style. And I guess I really wasn't feeling that for whatever reason. I can't recall. I didn't know much about it. So I was leaning more towards Jackson State because the emphasis that they focused, and I guess the language they used to communicate, how they focused on diversity and specifically stating like we focused on Black people. I thought that was important. And not to say Howard's didn't, I just think Jackson State's language spoke to me. That was the universe telling me where I needed to be, period. So I submitted the application. Got an interview, actually. That was the first time I ever went to Jackson, Mississippi. Shout out to my best friend, Chester Henderson, my nigga Bianca from the psychology department at Philander. That's how we met. But, Bianca from Chicago, that's my nigga because she drove me to my interview. Chester rode with me. And we went to my interview and I was so scared, but they got me through that interview. Network, y'all. Like, you never know. The power of Black people. Like, we are way better together. Like, that's how I got to my interview to become Dr. Lex. Like, support. But anyway, so I did the interview. Got a call back from the director of the program, Dr. Williams, and he was like, yeah, it was really great, but we waitlisting you. Pretty much what that means is we got other people that probably interest us a little bit more, and we're going to see if they say no first, then we're going to come back to you. All right, that's fine. So I'm like, okay, I done jumped off the porch. I can't just get no. So I'm going to literally have to figure something out. So I start going into go mode and applying to different schools. And I was freaking my support system out around that time. My lawn sisters, I know, was going crazy because I was taking the GRE and stuff. But I was just going bananas and applying. And so I applied to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. And this is just how you know the universe is like, wait, just be patient. Like, just listen to me, and I got your back, right? Because I'm just moving and grooving, and I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do this PhD thing. Meanwhile, I'm waitlisted at Jackson State. I ain't even paying attention to the fact that I have a potential opportunity, right? I'm not paying attention to that fact. I'm still moving forward where I know I need to be a PhD. And not even PhD at this point. I know I need to be a doctor to help my people in the way I want to. So I'm looking at PsyD. And just so I could back up, a PhD is a doctor of philosophy and a PsyD is the doctor of psychology. So just so you guys kind of know the difference, just like the PhD, the PsyD prepares students to practice psychology in a wide range, but the PsyD focused more on clinical practice and less on the research. And so I really wanted to go into the PhD program because research was a component of my interest. But somehow I completed the application for Jackson State. And I got an interview. Once again, similar to Philander, I'd never been to Jackson, Mississippi. Never been to Mississippi in my life, actually, until the day of my interview. And shout out to friends because my best friend Chester and a very close friend Bianca drove me to Jackson, Mississippi because I didn't have a car at the time for my interview. So your tribe impacts your vibe. Make sure you have people around you that will always increase your energy and pour into your cup when you need it. But also just, that was my first time getting to Jackson, and that interview just was like whoosh. And even backing up to get to the interview, right? Like when I was saying, like all my mentors, Dr. Griffin, Mr. Gatewood, the Department of Psychology, Sociology, Office of Academic Affairs, they pushed for me to get to there. They provided monetary support for me to get to my interview in Jackson. And I just can't thank all of my support thus far, my family, whether it's biological or the family I've grown along the way. I'm just so grateful for all of you and everything you've poured into my life. So I get to the interview. I think I totally blew the interview. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how that went. And then I can't remember if it was an email or call that I was waitlisted. And if you don't know what waitlisted means, basically, or it means like, I think everybody know what waitlisted means, but like, it's like, it's not a no, but it ain't a yeah. We're going to see what our yeahs do before we just give you a final no, which is how I felt. That's what that was. And so I remember just being super anxious and going into this mode of like, oh, now I have to apply to more places. And I'm looking at all my options. And so I remember it was a Delta week, my senior year. And it was March. And so Dr. Williams called me. It was after our health fair, and I was with my two mentees, the twins, Bianca, and Persuasion, Bree. And, I got the call, and Dr. Williams was like, hey, can I speak to Alexis Davis? And I'm like, this is she. This is her. in my mind, like, what's up? Who is this? And he's like, this is Dr. Williams from Jackson State. We just wanted to let you know, see if you were still interested in the program. And I'm like, am I? She ready? So I literally fall. Like, I'm on the call with this man, and I fall to the ground like, God, you gotta be kidding me. So I fall to the ground, Bianca and Brianna, like, right there looking at me like, what's going on? So I get off the phone, and I'm like, I just got accepted into the PhD program at Jackson State, and I'm just screaming. And like, oh my God, that, just to think about it now is just so emotional. And it's like, all the hard work, all the trauma, like, that's when the scab kind of fell off, if I'm looking back. And that's when it's kind of like I could start looking at the scar and seeing how it's impacted my life. And even like still dealing with ways it's impacted my life throughout my graduate program. So I met my mentors throughout my graduate program, Dr. Niesman, Bell Niesman, Dr. Kearns Cooper, Dr. Reese Smith, Dr. Williams, Dr. Cheryl Moreland, my dissertation chair. Like, I met all these Black people at Jackson State, but also communicating with Black people at different universities, Dr. Deems, Prunella Deems, who was at the time at Grambling, and then communicating with Southern and Xavier when I did a conference for the student chapter of AB Psi at Jackson State. The lesson for me in that was just like, when it's your time, it is your time. Like, trust your process, trust the universe, trust God, like whoever your higher power is. If you don't have a higher power, if it's a tree, trust your tree, like whatever. Like, just really put more into trust and choosing peace. And throughout, this podcast, we'll talk with different individuals and address ways that we could do that through different outlets. So I got into Jackson State, and it's a HBCU, of course, but it was a real culture shock, y'all, because let me tell you, it was me and one other Black male in my cohort, and everyone else was white, of Asian descent, or of Hispanic descent. And that person, and so then into our second year, we lost the person that was of Hispanic descent. Into our third year, we lost we lost more diversity as we went through, matriculated through. And so it felt very isolating. And, there were Black students above and under me, but it was just a different experience, and one that I wasn't expecting coming from Philander that was very Black. And, it was a different type of experience. But it also helped me become an advocate for myself and learn how to stand up for myself and really fight for the things that I'm passionate about and that I feel is a need for my people. So Jackson State was good to me, and it really helped me and gave me a lot of rich experiences. I got to work with inmate population and specifically veterans who were incarcerated, and really trying to focus on combating depression and anxiety and mental illnesses that can come as a result of being a veteran and an inmate and having those two identities. And so I also got the opportunity to work in community mental health, which was such a blessing. And also a university clinic. I just got really rich clinical experience. And mind you, I had never done any therapy. I came straight from undergrad and was like blown away. Like, oh, okay. So one last thing Jackson State did for me too was collided my passion of psychology and hip hop culture together, specifically rap music. So I began doing research my second year into the program, examining the impact of rap music. And more so, I wanted to look at the attitudes and perceptions that Black people have of rap music and how that impacts their racial identity. So when I say attitudes and perceptions of rap music, so how people, the lens through which people look at rap music. And so there's different categorizations of rap music. And I go by Dr. Tyson's categorizations according to his scale, the rap scale, and God bless the dead because he has since transitioned. I still want to honor his work. There's 3 categorizations of rap music or 3 attitudes and perceptions of rap music that you can have according to this rap attitudes and perception scale that Dr. Tyson developed. So you can have violent misogyny.